whether it was just a high stress situation and his adrenaline bleeding off somehow.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I didn't really make note of it myself, but I think it's probably just he's already had to deal with a lot of crap and he's not really dealing with it so well yet.
Well, no, he hasn't really had a chance.
Yeah, he just butt-ended a guy with a rifle, so I mean that upset me if I had to do that, even after everything he's been through. So as I was saying, they're talking about how to escape the city, and Jackie suggests that an old building like this would have access to the sewer in the case of flooding, I think she said, right?
Yep.
Apparently it does. They go down to look for it, and there it is. So Glenn and Morales, one of the other new characters, go in to check it out. And the cool thing I thought here is that Glenn displayed a lot of good sort of leadership qualities and logic reasoning here, because they were all just going to pile in and go see where it goes.
Let's go down the sewer.
And he says, no, I'm going one other person. If it gets bad, I don't want you guys all behind me and clogging up so I get killed.
Yeah, he's very, very smart man.
And he gave everybody a job, and they're all like, okay, you're the boss. Let's do this. I thought that was cool because Glenn doesn't really get to do that kind of stuff in the comic.
He does a little bit.
As it goes on, he does. He becomes a very important part, but he's just kind of the guy that gets you stuff, and he stays in the background, right?
Glenn is totally my favorite character this show so far.
So far, yeah. So far, he's been awesome. Yeah, I think he's done a great job. So they go in to check it out. In the sewer, they find an impassable grate with a zombie behind it.
Eating a rat.
And it was gross.
It was very gross.
So that's no way out. Meanwhile, Merle and T-Dog are talking on the roof. Merle's trying to convince him to cut the handcuffs off, but T-Dog doesn't go for it. Smart move, I'd say. Rick and Andrea are guarding the glass doors to the department store, and she finds a mermaid necklace that she's going to take back to her sister Amy.
That's nice of her.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. She also apologizes to Rick for putting a gun to his face earlier, and he tells her next time take the safety off. Cool, because it was her first lesson from Rick about shooting a gun.
Yep. And this weapon did have a safety.
This one did, eh?
This one did have. He clicked it.
Well, sure.
He showed it to her and then he clicked it. It actually had a safety and he clicked it and he said red dot means you're a good shoot.
Right, okay. So that's good to know.
Yep.
When you see the red dot, it's when you can do some killing.
Yep.
All right.
And don't forget to put your finger on the trigger if you want to use it.
It's very important.
Yes.
So at this point, the zombies break through the first set of glass doors in the department store. They're getting closer.
Multiple glass doors were broken simultaneously, which I thought was interesting.
Sure. You know what? The glass breaks down at the same rate. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more dramatic.
It did very well seem dramatic, but I just noticed that more than one door broke simultaneously.
Yep. So back up on the roof, they're thinking about what to do, and they notice a construction site down the road a bit, and they decide they need to get there and get some truck to drive everybody out of there. They're talking about how to do it, and Morales, I think, says they hear you, see you, and smell you. You can't get through them as a living person. And that's, of course, when it occurs to Rick that they need to cover themselves in zombie gore so they smell like the zombies.
Ooh.
Glenn, as they're grabbing gear to do that, says, if bad ideas were an Olympic event, this would take the gold. All right, Glenn. Good old Glenn. So the next scene involves them hacking up a body, one of the zombies that they bashed with the baseball bat earlier, and to smear the guts all over Rick and Glenn. The nice thing here is that before Rick chops him up, he grabs the guy's wallet to learn a bit about him, who he was before he was a zombie, what he did, if he was married, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's an interesting show of humanity, I think.
And organ donor.
And the fact that he's an organ donor.
Yeah.
That made it okay.
He gave his organs so that other people might live.
Rick says, if I find my family, I'm going to tell them about Wayne. Wayne saved our life, possibly, so that's pretty cool. Now, when they're smearing the guts all over themselves, Rick says, don't get any on your skin or your eyes. And then immediately, you see them all with their gloves off, almost touching it, and it's right up around their collar, no protection on their neck. It's like they didn't listen to him.
Well, yeah.
Andrea puts a gun in Glenn's pocket, barehanded.
No, his pants.
It doesn't matter. He had guts all down, like the jacket he was wearing.
Yeah, she lifted it up with the gloves and then put stuck the thing down the front of his pants.
Sure. Her gun hand was barehanded, though, and it's just placing it right there.
Yeah, and then Rick reached into his pocket for the key.
For the key. I'm sorry, that's too close. If he's saying, don't get any on your skin, that's, too close.
I pretty much wouldn't touch any zombie gore without a hazmat suit.
Yeah, I guess
then I'd want 2 hazmat suits.
That's right, put on 2 hazmat suits. I just think it was weird that they wrote that line in and then they just had them kind of nonchalant.
They didn't get any on their skin and none got in their eyes.
I guess.
They didn't lick the hand of the one they chopped off and put on Glenn.
I'd go nowhere near it, frankly.
Zombies are not lollipops.
No, they are not. Glenn pukes, which was funny.
That was awesome.
I don't know why it was funny, but it was. And Rick gives the handcuff key to T-Dog to keep safe.
Yep.
And then before they leave, Rick says, give me the axe, I need more guts. And there we have our show title.
Yep.
So Rick and Glenn head out to walk through the zombies toward the trucks.
Okay, so I have a question here.
Yes, and the rest of the group runs up to the roof to watch.
Okay, so I have a question. Now, generally, my entire life, I've personally had a bad sense of smell. I have a horrible sense of smell. Something has to stink real bad for me to smell it, or be really, really good. I can't smell anything. So I know zombies don't necessarily have any superpowers, but if I was somebody that had no sight, like couldn't see or couldn't hear anything, I don't think I could smell the difference between a dead rotting corpse and a live person covered in rotting meat.
Well, no.
How can zombies do that without a heightened superpower of some kind?
How they can smell the difference between someone covered in gore and someone who's actually dead?
Yes.
Well, they couldn't until it washed off.
Yes, but even then, I don't think I could make that distinction.
Oh, well, okay, I see what you're saying. You couldn't do it, so how come a zombie can do it? Well, I don't know. The dead smells so bad. You could smell the difference between a dead person and a living person.
I can tell the difference between a dead person and something else, or something that's not dead, but they're covered in gore. I don't think I can make that distinction. I can only assume that they can smell the living flesh.
No, they smell the fact that we don't smell like them. And so when Rick and Glenn were covered, they did smell like them, so they ignored them mostly.
But what do they smell like when they don't smell like them?
Oh, I think maybe they just don't smell. Non-living human people, sometimes we smell.
Yeah.
It's never that bad. I mean, I've smelled some pretty gross homeless guys in the ATM vestibule.
Well, that's what I assume that they smell like. I mean, they've been running around for days on end. They haven't had a shower. They've been working up a sweat. Wearing the same clothes for a long time. Now they're covered in zombie gore. I'm pretty sure they smell pretty ripe. I don't see how I personally could make that distinction.
Okay,
from a sense of smell. Now, from a sense of sight, that's another thing. I mean, humans are very, very good at facial recognition and motion recognition, right?
Yes.
I actually think Shaun of the Dead had it better than the show because they acted like zombies and moaned and kind of mimicked walking through.
Yeah, they did facial expressions, they did the movements, they did the noises, everything but the smell.
Right. That's because I think humans are very, very good at facial recognition and motion recognition, and even sounds are pretty good. We have a directional sense of sound, but and a directional sense of sight. But I think as a species, our sense of smell is subpar.
Oh, it's absolutely. I mean, compared to cats, dogs, almost every other animal.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that these zombies could smell these Glenn and Rick.
Well, Glenn and Rick did try to walk like the zombies too, and they went slow and they didn't sprint through there or anything. So I think we just have to accept the fact that zombies in The Walking Dead are good smellers.
Okay.
We can do that. And it relates back to the listener we had a few weeks ago who said, how can you smell something if you're not breathing? And if you're dead, how come you're breathing? So if we can accept the fact that the zombies can smell at all, I think we can accept the fact that they can smell better than the average human.
Okay.
I'm okay with it. And it made for good TV too. And that's really the most important thing.
It's very tense.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rest of the group is up on the roof watching, but we cut back to the camp and we see Amy worrying about Andrea, and we see Shane teaching Carl how to tie knots, having a very father-son moment.
Yes.
Really.
And Lori liked.
Yeah, she looked on and seemed to really enjoy that. But why wouldn't she? Her son has lost his father and
who apparently wasn't paying very much attention to them anyway.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. So
sometimes I wonder if you care about us at all.
Sure, but that's her perspective. There's two sides to every story.
Yeah, at least.
At least, exactly. Suddenly, T-Dog gets a signal to the camp radio and tells them that they are trapped in the department store.
Right.
Shane says, we do not go after them and risk the rest of the group. They're trapped. They're gone.
We're gonna stay right here, man.
He's a hard ass, man.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a chicken shit.
I don't know. He's a little bit of both, I think. He's really doing what he thinks is best for survival. He's like, look, we need stuff. We understand that we should go or send people into the city to get stuff. But if they don't come back, they don't come back. We're not going to send more people to try and get more stuff plus them.
Now, granted, they are on the edge of an old quarry, and it's a very, very nice view.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Maybe he wants to stay there.
He wants to stay for the view?
Yeah, he's in the forest. He's got himself a little posse. He's got a nice view of, an old quarry.
And he gets to bang his ex-best friend's wife.
There's always that.
There's always that.
If you like that kind of thing.
But anyways, he says they're trapped, they're gone, we're not going, and Amy storms off.
We're surrounded. Oh, they're dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
Come on, man.
Well, so we cut back to Rick and Glenn walking through the zombies. It works pretty well until it starts to rain and the smell washes off. And the zombies catch on really quick.
Maybe Rick and Glenn got spooked because it was raining and they were worried about the smell coming off, so they started acting differently, which alerted the zombies to they're not really walking like one of us.
Okay.
Maybe we should eat them just to be sure.
Just in case.
Yes.
They might taste good. We'll find out. But what Rick does is he turns around and splits one of them in the head with the axe, which was awesome.
Yep.
And they make a run for it.
Run!
The zombies start chasing them, and these zombies were going pretty fast for zombies.
They're going pretty quick.
They were moving. I think they were going at a fast jog. That's how I would describe
Fast
it.
shamble.
Yeah, but if you're going to put it in living human terms, a fast jog. I think they were going much faster than I expected the zombies in the show to go.
They actually can run faster than I can. Because I have bad knees and I can't run. I run like an old woman.
I've seen you run.
Yeah, it's not a pretty sight.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, so they were running faster than I could.
Yeah, and well, then you're screwed, man.
Oh, I am totally screwed.
Unless when this happens, we get the slowest zombies ever depicted.
Yeah, we need the slow, very slow zombies that fall down a lot.
That fall down, yeah. I also noticed that once Rick and Glenn get to the fence where the truck is behind, they climb over, and the zombies are able to climb the fence too.
Yeah, they climb the fence.
They don't just pile against it until it falls down. There's some climbing
Which
over.
they did anyway.
They did that anyway, sure, but the better ones climbed right over. It was really interesting. So they grab the keys for the truck and they drive out of there just as the zombies bust down that fence. Now they realize that they need to draw them away from the store, so they grab a fancy sports car.
Yep.
Someone please write in or call in and tell us what kind of car that was, because I thought it was a pretty cool looking car, to be quite honest, and I'd like to know. What happens is they break the window, the alarm goes off, and then Glenn gets in it to drive around and distract the zombies with the noise.
Yep.
Rick heads to the store in the truck, backs up and gets everybody in just in time.
Always.
The zombies are coming through those glass doors that they were breaking earlier.
Yep.
And they pile in. The group is heading down the stairs to the doors. T-Dog goes back to unlock Merle, but loses the key.
He drops the key.
He falls down, goes down a drain. Nothing he can do but leave him there handcuffed to the pipe.
Why doesn't he give him a hacksaw? Here's the hacksaw you wanted earlier. I'll see you later.
I think maybe they've already taken it down.
No, he kicked over the bag. There was a bag of tools, and they actually showed that when he was running back. He kicked over the bag. Tools spilled everywhere, and then he got down and tripped while pretending to trip and throwing the key into the drain, which I'm not really sure it was an accident.
I think it was an accident. I think he was genuinely meaning to
He
unlock
looked like he kind of threw it to me.
Well, maybe.
Oh, I fell.
I'll have to watch again.
Sorry about that.
We have the luxury of it being kind of in slow motion, so we can see. But he does lock the door to the roof.
He does. That was nice.
He chains it. Now, I didn't think at first that he was locking it so the zombies couldn't get in. I thought he was chaining it so Merle couldn't get out.
I thought he was chaining it so the zombies couldn't get in. I initially thought, hey, that's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, but if Merle is going to get out of there somehow of his own accord, he's going to want to come back and kill some people, I think.
He's got a rifle. They left the rifle.
That's what I mean. He's going to come back if he can and find them. He's going to be pretty pissed, and he's going to want to kill some of those people. So
he's going to want some cocaine. Is what he's going to
maybe. I thought T-Dog was locking the door, so he'd be stuck there and he couldn't come after them.
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know.
But if it was revealed in the next week, at least so T-Dog says, he did it so that the zombies wouldn't get at him.
Always a good excuse.
Yep. After everyone piles in, they're driving away in the truck, and the last shot of the episode is Glenn driving down the empty highway that Rick arrived on on horseback, and he's separated from the group, but he sure looks like he's having a fun time driving that car.
You know what I appreciated about that scene? The siren was in time with the music.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that, but there you go. It's the little things,
I like things like that. Like in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, the fighting, the sword hits were in time with the music.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is episode 2 of The Walking Dead. It was called Guts for obvious reasons.
One question I had about Glenn in the car at the end was, how did he learn how to do a rum runner? You know, when you back up and you jump on the brakes and you turn around and then you actually keep going without actually stopping?
Yeah, that's a pretty cool driving maneuver, but I don't think it's that uncommon for people to know how to do
I don't know. I tried one time when I was, we were, 17 or something like that. Me and my friend Scott were up in the Sioux in the middle of winter or something. I tried to convince Scott that he could do a rum runner. That's what that's called, that move.
I didn't even know that.
And I told him he could do it, and we plowed right into a snowbank and spent the next 2 hours digging ourselves out.
Well, serves you right, but I think we just got to assume he knows how to do that for some reason. I don't know if I can do it.
Well, we're gonna try it. Let's try it on the way home.
At the same time, I mean, you just drive back as fast as you can.
But then you got to spin the wheel,
crank the wheel,
jump on the brakes,
yeah.
And while you're turning around and on the brakes and turning your wheel the other way, you got to shift into forward.
You have to clutch shift into forward.
Shift into forward,
and then go.
Turn off the brakes, but put off the handbrake so you can go forward.
Do you use the handbrake?
Yeah, you got to use the handbrake.
Okay.
Without, you wouldn't. You have to lock the wheels.
Right.
And in the world of anti-lock brakes, that wouldn't work. You just kind of back up, slow down, and hit something. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, it's a whole thing. It's a very, very coordinated thing you have to do to get that car to spin around like that.
Well, let's just say Rick knows what he's doing behind the wheel.
And you need a rear-wheel drive. You can't do that with front-wheel drive.
Yes. Which luckily my car is, so we won't be trying it on the way home.
That may not be true. Somebody let me know if you can do that with front-wheel drive.
All right, I'm sure somebody knows. So what did you think? I thought it was a pretty great episode.
I thought it was pretty good.
I was slightly less sort of overwhelmed with awesomeness as I was while watching the premiere. Like, I loved the first episode. This was a very different kind of episode too. A lot of action, a lot of exciting moments. Whereas the first one was just Rick waking up, learning about what's going on, and a lot of sort of walking and.
Well, it was a different pace, that's for sure.
Definitely different pace.
But no, I think I enjoyed this episode as much as the first one.
What did you think about the new characters? T-Dog, Merle,
I like them.
Jackie.
I like having them around.
Morales.
Well, we need some more characters. I mean, if it was really in Atlantic City before they get to the camp, it's just Rick and Glenn.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
That's not the same thing as Atlantic City.
I've been watching Boardwalk Empire, so thank you for correcting me. So Atlanta, it was just Rick and Glenn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the addition of the new characters makes things very interesting, and I think that the addition of Merle is very important, especially in this short run of 6 episodes. We need a Merle.
Well, Merle is quite obviously being used to set up conflict with other living characters.
Yes.
Right? Him and his brother, of course. And I noticed that. The rest of them, I liked them. I was okay with it. I feel they were so many were maybe a little bit unnecessary. We didn't need, what were there, 5 characters?
Yeah.
And I do get the feeling that not all of them might survive all that long.
Okay, I think we needed that many characters because who's Rick going to lead if there's no one to lead? If there was 3 of them, it's one thing. But 5, I think that's a good solid number to lead.
We've got Andrea, Amy, Shane.
No, I mean, just the group in the.
while they're still in the city.
While they're still in the city. They still haven't gone to the camp yet. That's a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah, he needs people to lead, but I guess they fleshed out what happens in Atlanta a lot. When in the comic it's just him and Glenn, they pretty much just escape.
Holy crap, we gotta get out of here. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so they go. So if they're going to draw it out that much, you're right. They do need people to to do stuff to make it interesting, right?
Well, I mean, really, the Merle character in the graphic novel, how long does it take before we get to a Merle character, right? Like we start off with the conflict between Rick and Shane, and then we have the conflict with what's his name at the farmhouse? Herschel at the farmhouse. Like there's that whole thing, but we never really get a Merle until we get to the prison.
Yes, that's true.
So I think that having this early kind of sets up that overall tone, right? Because then we get to prison, then there's the governor, and there's this whole thing, right? So I think having that Merle character right off the bat is important because we need to move this thing along because we only have 6 episodes.
Yeah, you're right, and it's important to have conflict with other living people than just the zombies. You know, we talked about that.
Kind of, they're if you let them get around you and you get stuck, you're screwed. But you can pretty much deal with them.
Pretty much, but they're fast. They're faster than I expected. I thought we were going to have a Rick and Lori reunion at the end of this episode. Kind of ended on a high note, but we didn't. I guess they're going to have that early in the 3rd episode.
Hope so.
What do you think of Glenn? Is he the Hurley of the show? Is he the comic relief or the voice of the audience?
Yes,
like Hurley was.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that during this episode. I mean, I think Glenn is a great character. He's my favorite character so far. But I think he's kind of the Hurley, the hero, from Heroes.
The hero from Heroes, right?
Hero from Heroes. I think he's that comic relief, and I'm a little worried that it's some kind of visible minority being the comic relief.
No one's going to care about that. It's just that character can either be kind of annoying or really entertaining. And Hurley was really entertaining. I thought Hero from Heroes was pretty entertaining too, even though the show went downhill fast.
Right.
Glenn, we don't know. We'll see which way it goes. So far, I think he's great.
I think he's great too.
I'm really enjoying how he just handles things. It's good to see him doing that. Now they also kept calling the zombies geeks.
They did.
What do you think about that? I thought it was sort of weird. It was unexpected. I could see it happening once, like maybe one person refers to them that way. But that seems to be the name that they've adopted for the zombies in the show. Geeks.
Do they call them zombies? They don't. They call them walkers.
They call them walkers.
But I think they've adopted geeks for the show.
Well, in the first episode it was all walkers, and now it seems that the people at the camp have started calling them geeks.
I can get on board.
It's strange. It was unexpected, at least. Why not just use walkers?
I don't know, geeks are. I think it's important to come up with a belittling term for the enemy.
Yeah, I suppose. Does the term geek? Does anybody know the history of that term? Like, does it?
Well, I think it means some kind of person that bites off the head of live animals.
Oh, really? It's an old circus term, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm gonna look it up right now, though.
Okay, well that applies.
Talk amongst yourselves while I look this up.
Sure, I think that makes sense then if they're using the term geek, if that's where it comes from. Obviously, in popular culture, it refers to sort of computer nerds, right?
Yep.
But all right, well, if it has to do with eating living animals, it perfectly applies. And I am okay with it.
Ooh, okay. The word geek is a slang term with different meanings ranging from a computer expert or enthusiast, such as you or myself, to a carnival performer who performs sensationally morbid or disgusting acts.
You almost said carnal performer.
No, I didn't. Carnival performer, a particular or otherwise dislikable person, especially one who is perceived to be overly intellectual. Well, I guess that may not apply in this way. Freak. Anyway,
I think that works. Disgusting acts, biting the heads off a chicken, stuff like that. It works for me now.
Yep. Geek.
Okay. And the only other question I have is how will Glenn meet back up with the group? But I don't think
he knows where they are.
Well, I think he's obviously just going to drive there. The more I thought about it, yeah. What's stopping
with that siren blaring? I don't think that's a good idea.
He should probably turn that off first.
Well, I don't know if he can. I think he should ditch the car after driving up and down that road a few times.
If you notice in the preview for episode 3, the red car is sitting there at the camp in the background.
Okay. Well, hopefully he turned off the siren.
Yes. The hood is open though in the preview. So
if he drives up to the camp with that siren blaring,
yeah, I know it's going to be.
I'd shoot him.
Seriously, like what are you doing? All he has to do, I think, is open the hood, take out a fuse, probably that controls the car alarm.
I doubt it.
Well, it's a car alarm.
People are smarter than that. It's like, a car alarm fuse.
All right.
Well, and it's not under the hood. It's under the dashboard or somewhere around there.
Well, I don't know.
Do you know where the fuse box is in your car?
Yeah, there's 2. There's some under the dashboard and there's some in the engine compartment.
All right. So the one in the engine compartment probably has to do with the alarm.
Maybe, but even then, I mean, a fuse. As soon as I said it, I'm like, no, that can't be right. I mean, thieves know how to open the hood of a car and take a fuse out before they drive it away or whatever. But then again, you have to break into the car to open the hood, so maybe not. I don't know.
But then the alarm was off. Anyway, I don't know much about car alarms. So
suffice it to say, hopefully he disables that car alarm before he drives back. So what do we have coming up on episode 3, which is titled "Tell It to the Frogs"?
Tell it to the frogs.
Yeah.
So that has to have something to do with I don't know, being out in the woods.
Maybe, I don't know. The preview, the extended preview that's available on AMCTheWalkingDead.com is a conversation between Merle's brother Daryl, who's at the camp, and Shane and Rick primarily. They're explaining to him what had happened, and they left him there handcuffed to a pipe.
Right.
And then they decide, well, Daryl says he's going to go back and get him.
And throws a bunch of squirrels at Rick.
That's right. Throws a bunch of squirrels at Rick. You don't want to get hit with a bunch of
squirrels. Yeah, a whole mess of squirrels there.
He sure did. They were going to eat him.
Yep.
But I guess you got it.
Squirrels are good eating.
Whatever you say.
That grows on trees.
There you go. What about pigeons?
No, pigeons are rats. They're flying rats.
Squirrels
good.
So, but then Rick says, I'm going back to get my bag of guns. And
oh, and your brother, by the way.
And your brother, by the way. Exactly. So, we'll see. I mean, I hope Rick doesn't go back in by himself.
Okay, so here's the difference between Rick and Shane. Shane hears that a whole bunch of people from their camp are surrounded in the store, and he's like, oh, they're dead, forget it. Whereas Rick shows up, and there's one guy surrounded in the same store, even in a worse situation than the rest of the people were in. He's like, I'm going back to get him.
And they know that the store is full of zombies.
Yes, now the store's not just surrounded, it's full of zombies.
Yep.
So Rick is going to go back.
But he's going for the guns primarily, too.
Well, he's still going back. Shane would not go. He's like, forget the guns are gone.
Here's the episode recap so far from episode 3 from the AMC TV site. Rick makes a decision to go back to Atlanta to retrieve the bag of guns and save a man's life. Well, we know who the man is.
Who's that guy?
Lori and Shane must deal with the surprising return of someone they thought was dead.
Oh, no, who could it be?
Who could it be? I have no idea.
Could it be the object of the first sentence?
Maybe. There's also a picture right above that shows them reuniting for the first time.
Oh, the suspense.
The suspense.
Someone.
I know. Those recaps are stupid. So
I wonder if she forgot her sex necklace in the woods.
Oh, I bet she did. And
I have my ring. Oh, I left it in the woods when I was having sex with your partner.
Oops. I mean, looking for mushrooms.
Let's go look at the flat spot in the woods where we had sex.
Maybe we can find it. Yeah. I think it's going to be a good episode, but, I really don't know where it's going to go. After the first 2, which I had a pretty good idea of what we'd see, I'm getting to a point now where I don't know what's coming next.
Well, seriously, like what's going to go back to Atlanta? That's when, I assume that actually happens because they said it would in there.
Do we? Yeah, but we don't know if they go back in and get back to the camp by the end of the episode. If we don't know, they could go into Atlanta, somehow retrieve the guns and Merle and come back in the first 20 minutes, and then a whole bunch of other stuff could happen at the camp. We don't know, and we don't know what we're leading to in episode 4 either. Other than I think that's when the Vatos show up.
Where are the frogs?
And we don't know who the frogs are.
Maybe Merle and Daryl are really, really jonesing for drugs and they start licking frogs. There's mushrooms too. Don't forget the mushrooms.
There are mushrooms.
There's psychotropic stuff all over the place around there.
Well,
they're gonna crawl into the old rock quarry and they're gonna lick some frogs, eat some mushrooms. Well, they're gonna eat the mushrooms and they're gonna tell stories to the frogs.
I don't see why not.
Of course, this is gonna happen.
Tell it to the frogs. It's probably just some offhanded reference to. I could see it being like. You say it to someone when they're telling you something that's obvious that you already know. Like,
maybe Rick and Shane are sitting around the fire late at night one time. The frogs going.
Tell it to the frogs.
And Rick is saying something to Shane, and Shane's like, yeah, I hear you, tell it to the frogs.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And now that I think about it, is there a scene in the comic that's similar to that?
I don't remember any frogs.
Maybe not frogs, but something like that. I don't know. I could be making things up.
Look, Rick, I slept with your wife like 14 seconds after she thought you were dead, or 14 seconds after I convinced her you were dead.
Oh, yes.
Because she wanted to go back for you, but of course I couldn't allow that because I can't go back for anybody or anything. I want to stay right here
I'm a giant coward.
with your wife.
All right. So that is going to be Tell It to the Frogs. We'll see. We'll do a recap next week. Let's do a little bit more listener feedback, shall we?
Sure.
This comes from Ray. He says, hi, guys. Found your podcast this morning. Pretty good stuff. One thing that I was surprised you didn't mention, and if you've addressed this in prior episodes, forgive me, there's one particular zombie, the guy that looks vaguely like Jim Carrey.
Okay.
He appears in many of the different publicity shots. In those photos, we see the same actor in several makeups depicting progressive stages of decomposition. As he is wearing the same costume in all of them, I'm pretty certain that he is playing the same character, which we will see over multiple episodes as he slowly rots away. Here's the interesting part. When Rick has popped out of the upper hatch of the tank and all the zombies are either attacking the tank or eating the horse, there's a shot of this zombie just standing there glaring at Rick. It's just a couple of seconds, but it implies a lot. It sort of begs the question as to what is up with this particular zombie. I'm curious to know what you think about this. Thanks for the podcast.
Okay, so I think I know which zombie he's referring to.
Black-suited zombie.
Black-suited zombie. Now, I wasn't aware that his makeup was different in the different shots, showing a progressive state of decay.
I must admit, I didn't notice that either.
I'm gonna go back and look.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting if that's what's going on there. I've always sort of held the theory that the zombies do slowly decay, especially if they don't eat, maybe.
Yep.
But regardless, they do slowly decay, and as they do so, they become slower and more lethargic, maybe.
More bicycle girly.
Yeah, exactly. She has no legs, so she's going to be pretty slow. But when they're fresh zombies, they can move faster and they can climb fences and things like that.
Right.
Once they've started to decay, they probably can't do those things anymore. So it is interesting if this is true, what Ray says, and that they're depicting a zombie sort of going through these stages. That's fun.
I think he's also saying that the when he came out of the hatch, the zombie was looking at him like some kind of nemesis kind of thing,
Yeah.
or is it some kind of awareness, and maybe he's organizing other Nazi zombies to attack them in the winter? I'm not really sure.
Who knows? It is weird. If that was their intention to just have him standing there looking at him rather than attacking, it potentially says a lot about how these zombies work.
Yep.
Right?
I hope it's not really indicative of a nemesis zombie, because I really don't want a nemesis
No,
zombie.
I definitely don't want a boss zombie that they have to fight at some point. That would be weird. But Ray, thanks for your email. This one comes from Bill. He says, hey guys, this is my first email, and I just wanted to say what an awesome job you do.
Thanks, Bill.
I'd like to say, Bill, thank you so much for choosing us to send your very first email to.
That's amazing.
So far, the show has been amazing.
That's what I said.
I know. I enjoy the little changes that they've made to keep us all in the know about the story on the edge of our seats. Aside from some of the accents, the acting has been top-notch. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Morgan and Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite character in the book was always Andrea, and I'm hoping they keep her on the same basic plot lines in the books. I believe they will due to the fact that they had a scene specifically pointing out how inept she is with a pistol. That will give them a good lane for character growth towards the badass sharpshooter that she becomes.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be cool to see her develop. She's one of my favorite characters too, I must admit.
Mm-hmm.
And, hopefully she sticks around for a long time and we do get to see her progress a little bit.
I agree.
It's going to be great. Finally, we have one call on the voicemail line. This comes from Evil Prodigy, regular caller. Here's what he had to say.
Gentlemen, Evil Prodigy here in Northern California. It's been a while. I'm still listening out here. Do have to say that now that the show has gone underway, you guys are better than ever. Definitely. I'm going to really enjoy getting your guys' after, or shall we say, post-show commentary. Even Dave, unless he's got some sort of emergency going on.
Which he does sometimes.
But anyway, we're still listening out here. You guys are doing awesome. Keep it up. Look forward to the next episode after AMC episode 2. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about it. Evil Prodigy out.
All right, thank you, Evil Prodigy, for writing in.
Calling in, my friend.
Sorry, calling in. All I have to say is boop, boop, beep, boop. I don't know.
That was.
It sounded like he was in an airport or something, and they were signaling people to line up now. I
Could
don't
have
know.
been a train, could have been
Yeah,
a bus.
I don't know. Beep, boop. Who knows? Thanks for calling in, though, and letting us know your thoughts. It's great. I think on that, are we done? Oh, we got iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews. We've got 2 iTunes
Tell us
reviews.
about the new iTunes reviews.
Well,
this
we
week.
got 2 of them. We got one 5-star review. Check it out by RazzleDazzle77. I listened to a few Walking Dead podcasts and enjoy them all, but this has got to be my favorite name yet. The Talking Dead is an excellent podcast. The hosts are entertaining, and I love that they don't spoil their listeners. I don't read the comics.
Oops.
Check this podcast out. You won't be disappointed. Well, thank you, RazzleDazzle77.
Thank you, sir.
We got one more. This one's entitled Roar by Jason Kabasi. Love these guys. They're funny, easygoing, knowledgeable, and yes, well-spoken. A pleasure to listen to. P.S. I think it's especially funny when Jason goes off on absurd tangents and says something like, yeah, I think we can assume that's what's going on.
Is that it?
That's it.
Jason?
They're pretty absurd, yeah.
I happen to know him a little bit. He is the host of the Walking Dead cast, one of the hosts along with Karen. So thanks, Jason, for giving us a review, and we love your show too.
I will try to go off on more ridiculous tangents.
Yeah, well, it happens. It's okay.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, absurd tangents.
Absurd. And you know what? We do make a lot of assumptions here, so we rely on people to write in or call in and make us look stupid and tell us how things really are.
I'm absolutely sure that Merle and Daryl are going to be licking frogs and eating mushrooms.
I have a feeling that it's Merle and Durl.
Merle and Daryl?
It's not Daryl, it's Durl.
Daryl?
Merle and Durl.
Merle, this is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Merle.
Exactly.
That's good stuff.
I know.
I can't see why not.
Exactly. Alrighty, let's wrap things up. We've been going for a long time here. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We will, of course, be back next week with episode number 31, where we will discuss show number 3.
3. What's it called?
Tell It to the Frogs.
Oh, yeah, right. We talked about that.
We've been through.
As we've talked about many times.
In the meantime, we would love for you to write or call in and give us your feedback. Let us know what you think, correct our errors, anything like that. You can email us at talkingdeadpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/talkingdead, or visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/thetalkingdead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the big news for the week,
Big
everybody.
news.
The old phone line that you used to call us
Doesn't spell anything.
doesn't spell anything. The new phone line that you can use to call us does indeed sort of spell something.
Sort of. That's a step up.
But the most exciting news is that it is a toll-free number.
Toll-free.
The old one was a long-distance call for everybody who wasn't in Seattle, I think.
That's weird.
Yeah, the service is based in Seattle, so I think that's what it is. We now have a toll-free number. Now, it's brand new, and I'm not sure how it works yet, but I'm pretty sure if you call, you'll get our welcome message, and then you'll leave a message. Well, I'm sure that's what'll happen.
It's like an answering machine.
It's an answering machine, but it's toll-free. It's called the Zomb line.
Zomb line.
And we want you to call it at 866-483-ZOMB.
Zomb.
That's 866-483-ZOMB. For those of you that don't have letters on your telephone, that's 9662 at the end.
Huh.
So, everybody, if you were thinking about calling but weren't sure if you wanted to make a long-distance phone call, now you've got no excuse.
Yep.
No reason
Toll
not.
free, Zomb line.
There you
Zomb
go.
line.
Call us on the Zomb line.
Zomb line.
Yes, Z-O.
B is for bargain.
866-483-9662.
Excellent.
ZOMB is for bargain. Very good. So good. Please call. We'd love to hear from you and what you think of the show or us, and we'll play it on the air. Anything else before we sign off for this week?
I don't believe so.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week with episode number 31.
Bye.